I cannot believe that Doctor Who is now a death battle combatant. You know, the guy, Doctor Who? Have I offended you yet? Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my Death Battle prediction videos. And next time on Death Battle, after Scooby-Doo vs. Courage, we have Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty versus the Doctor from Doctor Who. I am very interested to see how Death Battle is going to pull this episode off, both in terms of animation and analyses. There is a lot of stuff you can pull out for these characters. They are both crazy in their abilities and their technology, and this is going to be one of those episodes I know that's just going to make my brain hurt while I'm watching it. But even still, I'm excited to see what they have, not just from a versus debate perspective, but also a production perspective. So I am quite excited to see how all this goes. And also, this matchup itself is pretty cool to me because not only do we have another cartoon character who's also an Adult Swim cartoon character, which is very far off from the norm from what Death Battle does, but we also have a live action TV character, which is so refreshing to me because I want to see so many live action TV shows get into Death Battle. Obviously, the big one being Star Trek. It is long overdue, so I am quite excited for this matchup for multiple reasons. I just want to see where it goes. Now, I am going to try to be somewhat quick about this because, to be perfectly frank, I am not the most knowledgeable when it comes to these series. I do like sci-fi a lot, but these specific shows are not really my area of expertise, if you will. But I will start by saying that I think Death Battle is going to be including everything that these characters have, or at least everything that they reasonably can. So for Rick, I think they're going to give him all of his invented technology, all the technology he has, all the technology he's created, except for maybe anything that he's explicitly lost or got destroyed or whatever. Even then, I'm not even sure if that's a guarantee, though. And when it comes to the Doctor, I'm thinking pretty much the same for his technology, and I also think that they're going to be combining all of the Doctors into essentially one skill set, one combatant. And it's not just because they've done it with other characters before, like Link and James Bond, who are kinda similar in that way, but it's also because each reincarnation, or whatever you want to call it, of the Doctor is confirmed to have all the same skills, knowledge, capabilities, and the TARDIS, and therefore the tech arsenal of all the Doctors that came before. There are some slight changes, like in terms of the personality and whatnot, but if we're effectively using the most recent Doctor, then everything would be included anyway, you know what I mean? So I have no reason to believe that that's not what they're gonna do. But that does not mean the case is closed right off the bat. Both of these guys have some insanely overpowered capabilities when looking at everything, some of which actually matches up pretty well. Rick, we know, is insanely smart. I believe he's established to be the smartest person in the universe and the smartest Rick in the multiverse, which is insane. And for the Doctor, he is a ridiculously old Time Lord that basically knows everything there is to know about time shenanigans, fourth dimensional science, all of that, including partaking in a massive millennia-spanning time war. It's kind of hard to compare those directly, but still, they're both really, really smart guys. They've also both operated machinery that was operating at massively faster than light speeds, even in combat settings, which is really impressive. And they both have technology that can affect the multiverse, or possibly even more beyond that. An example for Rick, I believe, was destroying an infinite amount of timelines, and for the Doctor, we have killing all the Time Lords and Daleks across all points in time in every possible timeline. So yeah, all crazy stuff. Now, their differences is where things get a little more complicated, especially since not all of their technology is going to act as a one-to-one comparison to each other's arsenals, obviously, but also because it's very easy to look at this fight from either a small details perspective or a really, really big picture one. I think generally speaking, when it comes to up-close combat, Rick has the advantage. His physical strength levels are probably at least a little higher, he has a force field, he has more one-on-one combat experience. I think the main physical advantage that the Doctor has is his insane regenerative abilities, which would honestly render a fair portion of Rick's arsenal moot. However, Rick also has technology that's capable of harming higher dimensional beings, and there was one time where a guy instantly died because he just laid his hand on Rick, presumably due to some technology that Rick embedded somewhere, Now, obviously the Doctor is a Time Lord, he's not a normal human, and this acted upon a normal human. It was just a regular guy. However, to my knowledge, I don't believe we've seen the Doctor come back lickety-split from just death acting upon him. I don't think we've seen that. And if we have seen that, well, I don't know why we're doing this fight. But when it comes to their respective levels of control and the strength of their abilities, I'm not sure if Rick even holds a candle to the Doctor. When it comes to manipulating foreign technologies, the Doctor has multiple weapons that can straight up disable them, like the sonic screwdriver. He might not know which weapons are the ones that pose the biggest threat to him, but he can not only read Rick's mind, but also just download all of the knowledge that he has instantly. So now he knows everything about Rick and his technology. And even if it's difficult for him to get the opportunity to disable that technology, he could just use telekinesis to disarm Rick, or he could use his hypnosis to make Rick disarm himself or just shut off his force field. Rick does have some similar technology, like he has a memory erasing gun, and just stuff, like a shrink ray or transforming weapons that manipulate the target in ways that are not necessarily deadly, but are still probably like unresistible, like they're wacky weaponry. But even still, with the Doctor being able to do all of this at will, it just poses a bigger threat to Rick continuously throughout the fight. And this isn't even getting into how the Doctor's space-time abilities work. Both of these characters are able to travel through time, and Rick even has a time-stop device, but the Doctor being a Time Lord means that he has complete immunity to all time-stopping effects. Even when what was essentially a time god stopped time, the Doctor could still move, so Rick is not going to be able to get the drop on him through that method. Or if you want something more offensive, the Doctor has every means available to him to be able to rebuild the key to time, which essentially gives the wielder unlimited control over space, time, and to some degree reality. And at this point, unless Rick has something that I am missing that's huge, that is completely game-changing, I do not believe he has a single item or weapon or anything in his arsenal that would be able to compete with something like that or could defend him from something like that. Hell, if the Doctor disables his, portal gun or anything else that allows him to travel around and he manages to get him in the TARDIS, then the Doctor has complete control over where they go and where they're fighting. At this point, it just feels too overwhelming to me. Rick does have his clone army, which means he could use a lot of technology at once, which is actually really good for him. And he even has a failsafe where I believe it's that his mind will get transferred into a younger body if he dies. But to me, this seems like more of an inconvenience for the Doctor, like something that would just make the fight more tedious, rather than actually being something that would allow Rick to win himself, just based on the general comparison here. This is one of the awkward things about versus debating, because I feel on average, Rick actually has better showcases, like on a day-to-day basis. You kind of need that for something like Rick and Morty, the show. However, Doctor Who is structured very differently, where if you look at the best capabilities, the best tech, the best everything that the Doctor has, they are utterly ridiculous. They're just not used that often. Hell, the show, Doctor Who, has been going on for like 60 years at this point. We've seen so much shit, So if we're going by normal death battle rules and we're trying to look at the best stuff that each of these characters have, and that's the main stuff we're focusing on, then I honestly believe the Doctor is just too powerful and has more things that Rick doesn't have a good counter to than the other way around. We can even make similar comparisons with their characters. Rick is a human, albeit a cartoon human and a really impressive human, who has, tech that can manipulate the laws of physics and time, and he knows a lot about doing so, absolutely. However, to be frank, the Doctor, this is kind of his domain, like he is the physics-breaking, time-breaking stuff along with his technology. And even if Rick happens to know something that the Doctor doesn't, he could just download all of that information from the get-go. It's very difficult to find a reliable escape for Rick here. Rick is a strong fighter, he's a capable fighter, he's a capable cartoon, and he has an insane arsenal with so many things in it, ridiculous versatility, and within that ridiculous versatility, he might in fact have something that could counter everything that the Doctor has. It's insane. I'm not going to say that I can't be missing something. I absolutely could be. But whatever that technology is, it would have to be able to counter tech disrupting, mind downloading and manipulation, telekinesis, and an immense level of control over space and time. And I personally just don't see that being as likely. So Death Battle could surprise me 100%, but right now I think the ball is in the Doctor's court. But I want to hear what all all of you guys have to say. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, comment your comments, subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see all you guys in the next video. Peace out.